For more on this, let's bring in fast money friend Gene Munster, who was at the event. And I'm going to say, judging by I've got a picture of you right here at the event. It does not look like you're underwhelmed.
I was impressed, and ultimately I think that what's going on is the classic near versus the long term. And the near term, the setup it was all about timing. And Elon talked about 2 years before we see this, and you make the adjustment, and it's 3+ years away. And also they didn't talk about that all-important, more affordable Model 2. I think most people had expected that. The one surprise on the robo-van is really a non-starter, but I want to tell you that explains the down 8%, is that if you're scoring this with a level, kind of a level scoring card, this was a disappointment on that front. But why I was impressed was ultimately they are laying the groundwork around what's going to happen in autonomy. And you can debate whether it's going to be Waymo or Cruise or Tesla that's going to be the bigger and what their share is, but the world is moving to autonomy. And I think what they showed with Optimus, moving it from what I would call a prototype to a pilot, it's making some nice gains in its performance. I think it really underscores that Tesla is this is a tech company. I think that debate is over. You can debate whether or not what the growth rates are going to be, but is this a car company or a tech company? They made the statement, and that's why I was impressed.
You asked that question in your note, but you didn't answer it, and I was left like this. Well, okay, so what is it? Is it a tech company or a car company? And okay, so that's tech company is where we're going. What was the disappointment?
Absolutely.
What did you find disappointing?
The disappointment was just on the timing of the Cybercab. The fact that it's 2 years out. I mean, you got to figure it's 3 years. Basically, an investor who is a new or a near-term Tesla investor, they really can't bank on anything that's RoboCab related if you put a 2-year time window on that. So that was a disappointment. Second, the silence was deafening around them not talking about Model 2. My sense at being at the event and talking to people at the event is that car is still clearly in the works. Timing on it, probably late 25. Elon said could be as early as late this year, but call that late 25. And they don't want to announce that car right now because it just wouldn't be good for sales of existing. So that, in hindsight, makes sense. But I think that kind of was a 1-2 combo that just left people, at least the near-term Tesla traders, scratching their head.
Yeah, so Gene, you and I have talked about this a bunch. I mean, like if Elon sets out a timeline, you got to take the over, right? And I know you're a long-term investor and you're always thinking about what is that next trend, whether it's Tesla or some of these other companies. You know, a lot of people did get excited about the potential for a Model 2. They clearly did push that out. Remember back in April where the Reuters was reporting that they're going to focus on robotaxi. So if you're starting to think about robotaxi a few years out, then it really is a car company right now. At least that's the way you have to value it. So my question to you is if people are waiting for this lower end one, we know that they still have a price war with China and not a price war with the Chinese manufacturers. We might have a really interesting issue with tariffs. Maybe that credit goes away. This company, where do margins bottom? That's the question that I have, because the 3 and the Y, they're kind of getting saturated. Last point I'll make is Elon's not doing himself any favors. I think last quarter they dropped below 50% market share in California. So there's some issues about demand here in the U.S. also.
That
was a question.
Oh, sorry.
Can I, if I contest, if I can just quickly mention?
I think the show. Well, hold on, Contessa. Well, the show is conversational. It's not just Q&A. Okay. You ask the question.
No. Okay, go ahead, Gene.
I think this is an important dynamic as a longer-term investor, like you said, Dan, is that I want to be clear here, is I believe that this is a grossly undervalued AI company, and time will prove that. As far as 2025, this year is 2025 is setting up to be dicey. If I'm right that there is a lower price vehicle and there is more chatter in the marketplace, that probably will have a dampening effect on demand in the first part of the year. If I am wrong that there is no Model 2, no more affordable vehicle, then the kind of where the sweet spot of the growth market on EVs is that lower price, and it's not there. Either way you look at it, I do want to be clear, is I think that there's a reset on some of the numbers for 2025.